Is something happening to you that no one around you seems to notice? Life keeps moving, but it feels stuck. You take one step forward only to be pulled 2 steps back. You change jobs, relationships, even cities, and yet the emptiness is still there. And the strangest part? Certain situations keep repeating themselves, like the universe cast you in a poorly written script that's stuck on repeat. But what if I told you this isn't bad luck? It's not misfortune. It's a spiritual loop. And until you understand why you're stuck, you'll keep reliving the same pain, with different names. Now listen closely. This isn't vague, esoteric talk. Carl Jung, a world-renowned psychiatrist, said that the unconscious runs your life until you make it conscious. And as long as you keep ignoring the signs, yes, those synchronicities that keep showing up in your daily life, the universe will keep raising its voice in louder and louder ways. Because it's no use watching 1,000 self-help videos if you keep making the same choices with the same mind. Awakening begins when you stop treating coincidences as coincidences and start using the signs as your compass. So if you've been feeling stuck in something you can't explain, if it feels like your life is being pulled toward some invisible direction, this video is what you needed to see. Because from here on, you're going to understand what's behind that spiritual loop, how to identify the patterns that are sabotaging you, and most importantly, how to break free using synchronicities as your map to liberation. But listen, only hit play if you're truly ready to see what most people spend their lives avoiding. Some people spend their entire lives thinking they're evolving, when in reality, they're just going in circles. That's the so-called spiritual loop. It's when the soul gets trapped in the same emotional patterns, facing the same dilemmas, attracting the same kinds of people, situations, and outcomes. The person might change jobs, cities, relationships, but the internal feeling remains the same. Emptiness, frustration, or that quiet, persistent restlessness that never goes away. It's as if the universe keeps presenting the same lesson, only changing the scenery. And here's the wild part. They truly believe they're moving forward, when in fact, they're just spinning in place. These cycles are invisible, silent, yet incredibly powerful. They come from inherited beliefs, unresolved traumas, spiritual contracts the person doesn't even realize they signed. And that's where the danger lies. Because once a spiritual loop sets in, a person starts sabotaging themselves without realizing it. You know that pattern where everything's going well and suddenly falls apart? Or that feeling of, I always mess things up right when it's about to work? Exactly. That's not bad luck. That's repetition. And until the pattern is recognized, it will repeat as many times as necessary. The soul is stubborn. It wants to teach you something, and it will keep repeating the lesson until you finally learn it. Want a practical example? A woman leaves an abusive relationship only to enter another with the same energy, just a different face. A man quits a toxic job only to accept another one exactly like it. And no matter how much the setting changes, the essence stays the same. This loop is like software running in the background. The good news is you can break it. But first, you have to realize the loop exists. And that's where a much deeper journey begins, learning to spot the invisible signs that something is repeating and trying to wake you up. Repetition doesn't always scream, sometimes it whispers. And that's why so many people don't realize they're stuck in a spiritual loop until everything starts going wrong. Again. The most common signs are recurring feelings of déjà vu, like you've lived that moment before. And not just once. You'll also notice unconscious self-sabotage, where you're on the verge of achieving something important and mysteriously, everything falls apart. Emotionally, there's a fatigue that never goes away, a kind of existential boredom, or a lingering frustration that sticks with you even on your happiest days. Everything looks fine on the outside, but inside, something just doesn't fit. Another classic sign is negative synchronicity. Yes, that's real too. It's not just seeing repeating numbers and thinking it's a blessing. Sometimes the universe is knocking at your door with the same number, the same kind of person, the same recurring problem. And you keep ignoring it. For example, someone who always attracts friendships that drain their energy, or someone who every time they try to change their life faces an unexpected setback. The body speaks too. Chronic pain that won't go away, unexplained insomnia, anxiety attacks that come out of nowhere. These are spiritual warnings, and ignoring them is like hitting snooze on your alarm and going right back to sleep. Dreams also carry hidden messages. You know those dreams that repeat, waking up sweaty, feeling like you're falling, dreaming about doors, staircases, or mazes? All of that could be your unconscious trying to show you that you're trapped in some cycle. Carl Jung said the unconscious communicates with us through symbols, and dreams are the perfect stage for that. Start writing down your dreams. Look for patterns, compare them with what's happening in your waking life. Because once you've identified the loop, the next step is understanding where it's coming from. And that, my friend, is when you'll realize the universe doesn't mess around. Carl Jung once said, "What you do not bring into consciousness appears in your life as fate." And that quote alone feels like a velvet slap, because it's exactly what happens in a spiritual loop. Unconscious patterns run your life like a hidden script, where you step onto the stage without even knowing the role you're playing. The conscious mind tries to rationalize, justify, find someone to blame, but the true author of the story is down below, in the unconscious, programming everything on autopilot. And that's where synchronicities show up as messengers. They're like cracks in the matrix, revealing that something invisible is operating behind the coincidences you keep ignoring. Picture this. Someone is on the verge of making a big life change, and suddenly they start seeing the same words, bumping into the same people, or hearing the same songs, with hidden messages tucked inside. That's not random, it's symbolic. Synchronicities reveal what the unconscious already knows, but the conscious mind hasn't grasped yet. Jung called this the language of the soul. And when you begin to notice repetitions in your outer world, it means your inner world is trying to reveal itself. You either pay attention, or the loop continues. And if you still think all of this is just fantasy, stop and think. How many times has something that seemed like coincidence completely shifted the course of your life? A book that landed in your hands at the perfect moment. A video that randomly showed up on your feed. A person you ran into on the exact day you were thinking about them. These meaningful coincidences, as Jung called them, are wake-up calls. They're clues. And if you follow those clues with courage, you can start to unravel the threads of your spiritual loop. But of course, to do that, you need to learn how to use synchronicities as a true compass. Synchronicities aren't just there to make your day feel more mysterious. They are encoded maps from the universe, designed to pull you out of your spiritual loop. But like any symbolic language, they require attention, presence, and above all, a willingness to listen with your heart. The first step is to stop treating coincidence as random chance. Every time something repeats in your reality, write it down. Record words, images, names, sensations. Keep a synchronicity journal. It might sound simple, but it's deeply transformative. Because patterns only reveal themselves to those who commit to seeing. And once you truly see, you can't unsee. Want a practical tip? Every time a strong synchronicity happens, stop and ask yourself, what was I thinking or feeling in that moment? Because the sign is never isolated, it's always tied to an emotion, a question, or an intention. If you were about to make a decision and saw the same message 3 times within an hour, that's not coincidence. It's a response. The universe works through vibrational alignment, and when you're close to breaking free from the loop, it starts leaving clearer and louder clues. But often, those clues come wrapped in discomfort. And that's exactly when most people pull back. Another powerful practice is conscious silence. Instead of constantly seeking answers outside yourself, try listening. Meditating for 5 minutes a day with the intention of receiving direction can unlock more than 1,000 external questions. Your intuition begins to speak louder. Answers start arriving through unexpected channels, a book that jumps off the shelf, a conversation overheard by chance, a sentence that sends chills down your spine. All of it might be your turning point. But the real question is, will you recognize the sign when it comes? There comes a moment when you realize understanding the loop is no longer enough. You have to act. And this is the stage where most people freeze, because breaking a spiritual loop requires more than intention. It requires ritual, presence, and consistent practice. One of the most powerful tools is intuitive writing. Grab a pen and paper, yes, a real pen, no phones, and start asking questions like, what am I not seeing? Or, what pattern do I need to break right now? Then just write whatever comes, no filters. It might seem silly, but this allows the unconscious to speak directly, without the interference of the rational mind. It's like tuning into a new frequency of your own soul. On top of that, aligning your vibration before sleep is an underrated but highly effective key. Right before falling asleep, the brain enters a hypnagogic state, a kind of bridge between the conscious and the unconscious. It's the best moment to visualize the life you want outside the loop. Picture yourself free, light, living a version of your life that actually makes sense. Feel it, as if it's real. This simple practice, done for 7 nights in a row, can already start shifting your internal timeline. It's like reprogramming your soul's GPS. Carl Jung believed that every symbol carried the power to transform. And when you project a new image of yourself in this state, you begin to rewrite your destiny. To seal the shift, cultivate presence. As simple as that, though not always easy. Presence is the vibrational state that most effectively breaks spiritual loops, because the loop only survives in the automatic, the unconscious, the pilot mode. When you're present, you see, you feel, you choose. Guided meditation, mindful bathing, deep breathing, voluntary silence, all of these are keys. And it doesn't have to be perfect, it just needs to be consistent. The universe doesn't respond to performance, it responds to vibrational truth. And when your vibration shifts, the synchronicities change. So now the question is, are you ready to recognize the new signs? And now that all of this has been revealed, tell me, what are you going to do with this knowledge? Will you keep living on autopilot, pretending you didn't understand the signs? Or will you finally face your spiritual loop head-on and start breaking free from it, one step at a time? Because here's something no one told you. Your life only changes when you change the way you see what's happening to you. As long as you treat synchronicities as random stuff, you'll keep getting the same warnings, only louder, more intense, and more painful. So go ahead and answer in the comments. What was the sign that impacted you the most? What pattern did you recognize in today's video? What practice are you going to apply today to start breaking the cycle? Write it down. Because when you write, you activate. And when you share, you inspire others who are stuck in the same loop but haven't noticed it yet. Remember, sometimes your comment is exactly what someone else needs to finally wake up. And if this video shook something inside you, if deep down you felt something click, something begin to shift within you, don't let that energy fade. Subscribe to the channel right now, turn on the notification bell, and come walk this journey of awakening, reconnection, and truth with us. Because there's so much more on the way. And you deserve to live everything the universe has in store for you without repeating what no longer makes sense.